latest edition of Miami Hurricanes Talk with Danny, presented by Lorraine Sports. And by the way, please give Canes Connection a shout out, and they can sure use the help. My guest this week is Keith Hadley from Fifth Quarter FAMU. What do you guys do? Just give our audience what you do.
Man, so with the Fifth Quarter FAMU, FQFAMU, if you want to call it that, we really just try to follow and cover FAMU. Try to be just and fair. Sometimes a little. I also utilize that platform to do a podcast called the Fangs Up Podcast. I also assist the National Alumni Association and Rattler Boosters. Yeah, I got you. I can hear you. Yes, sir. Oh, I was just saying that I represent Florida coach from Mechanical University, obviously, but along with doing the Fifth Quarter FAMU page on Twitter, and we just try to get the information out there about FAMU athletics and things like that. I also do the Fangs Up podcast, and I also work with Rattler Boosters and the National Alumni Association. Just money. Honestly, I think they were offered about $40,000 to be able to come down there, and it takes about $100,000 just to move the band. So honestly, it just when you start looking at the cost benefit analysis, and you're starting to ask the athletic program to pay for an auxiliary such as the band, it wasn't going to be able to be done. Absolutely, yeah, they're great.
Back in the FCS. I mean, I look against Norfolk, 22 of 30, 286, 3 touchdowns. The thing I've been very impressed about him is he tends to extend plays in the pocket. Tell us about Daniel Richardson and what FAMU's offense. Keith.
Yeah, I mean Daniel Richardson. Oh, I still got you. I can hear you, man.
Go ahead.
He's a mobile quarterback. So is he the tallest quarterback? Not at all. About 6 feet. We'll give him 6 feet. 5'10", 6 feet in that area. But he's very fleet of foot. Previously played at Florida Atlantic University, where he's quarterback there. Last season, a little interception heavy, but this season we're seeing pretty good decision making. As long as the receivers catch the ball, they're pretty solid. But most likely, honestly, if I'm going to be honest, the biggest tight end is strong. They have a very strong running room. One of them you're familiar with, number 23, Franklin,
Yes,
previously played at the University of Miami, transferred in from the University of Louisiana at Monroe. Thad Franklin.
Yes, one of our backs.
Yes, sir. So that's really with our offense. It's really a new regime. We're looking try to dump the ball off to the tight ends.
Yeah, look at last, and also I saw Richardson last week. 3 more touchdowns, 23, 38, 282. I think he was like the FCS Player of the Week for a second straight week, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. 2 weeks in a row, FCS HBCU Player of the Week, man. So, good kid, brother, good brother, Phi Beta Sigma.
Yeah, very.
I forgive him.
Yeah.
But joking aside, but
very good player, very good player, very very impressed with Richardson. I mean, okay? Let me ask you this: when I see their defense, last year you were number 2 in the FCS in total defense. That really impressed me right off the top. And when I look at them this year, I mean, James Colsey comes in. I read something just this week, and I was very, very grateful to see James Colsey praise Mario Cristobal because they were very close. They've been very close since their days at Miami Columbus. Tell us about that a little bit, about James Colsey.
He was a head coach in Canada, and Colsey, he says really, really, really a lot. But he's a defensive-minded coach. He definitely wants to let the defense kind of do their things, but he's stated that, especially offensive. So you notice So he understands that you don't want to lose the and lose your opportunity to win a conference championship for the sake of trying to win or be competitive in the
Yeah, I
state.
mean, listen. We know how good we know how good FAMU is. I mean, the FCS. Let me tell you, I'm surprised they're not in the playoff more. But to win the Celebration Bowl and the way they did last year, I mean, I'm telling you something. That's a team that said, hey, that's a dangerous opponent. I mean, Miami's not going to look past them. I mean, that's Miami coming off the big win in Gainesville over Florida. But no, FAMU's the home opener. Yes, Miami should win comfortably, and I think they will. But the more I look at FAMU, I said, hey, later in the year, I would not want to play this team later in the year. This is a very dangerous team.
It's a good team, man. And I mean, honestly, if we're looking at it, it's filled with Division 1 FBS transfers. I mean, you just look across the board, and once you start looking from quarterback to receiver to running back, everyone, for the most part, a larger school and a different school. Like, a lot of them have South Florida ties. I mean, we've mentioned Daniel Richardson. He's a kid from Miami, but he's also
There
played
too.
at Florida Atlantic. You look at Asion Cobb, graduated with the great Jones High School in Orlando, Florida, another FAU transfer. And then we mentioned Thad Franklin, Miami. You start looking at Kendall Bowler, your best corner on the team. He's a amalgamation, if you
Hey,
want
I'll tell
to,
you what,
of players.
that's going to be a team. You know, we can't take them lightly. We know it's going to be a tough opponent. What? Let me ask you this. What should fans expect from FAMU Saturday night going into this game?
So far, what we've seen is an offense that's a little bit slow to come on, but a defense that also is susceptible to giving up the run. I mean, honestly, you kind of hate to see it, but and hate to say it, but if you look across the street, you see a little bit of that at FAMU, but you're seeing that we're actually pulling out the wins. Where you're looking at, and we're seeing what Cam Ward was against the University of Florida, and what he was at Incarnate Word and Washington State. FAMU is very susceptible to that type of quarterback. We run a base 4-2-5 defense, and he's a mobile quarterback. He can throw the run. He can really make all the plays, and he has an amazing set of receivers that honestly they look better than they have in many years. So you start looking, FAMU's really got one lockdown corner, but the other side there could be question marks. So we're going to see. Will
Hold on.
be able to find their other receivers and those experience.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at one thing FAMU does win is they win those gritty games. They win those gritty games. Two tough games back to back. Come up defense comes up big late to make a play. Am I right, Keith? Keith, you there, bud?
I can hear you. Yes,
All
sir.
right,
You're
go ahead.
breaking up a little bit
Let
on
me
my end,
hold
but
on just a second.
yeah,
Let
two
me
tough
just
games.
go ahead, man. Go continue. Continue. Go ahead. Yes, it is. I mean, I always like to say I don't like to say it after one game, Keith. I would rather look at that maybe 7, 8 down the road. But right now, but yeah, we look pretty impressed. Miami looked very impressive up in Gainesville. I was there. It was hot in the swamp. I'm not gonna lie. It was hot as hell. Okay, and I can tell you something. Oh yeah, to the win there is just amazing. But hey, listen, this is a team. James Colsey makes no illusions to say, listen, this is a tough game ahead. He knows the Canes are good, but I expect FAMU to show up in this game and play hard. Listen, if you don't play hard, you're cheating yourself. You're cheating yourself. This is Oh yeah, he says it's a big opportunity. In fact, Colsey said this. There are guys that understand if you want the have the opportunity to play at the next level, this is the type of game you need to play well in. Today we played UM's fight song all practice so they could get used to the crowd and stuff like that. But tomorrow we'll have it even louder. Hey Mike, what's up, man? Thanks for coming in. Uh, it gives us the opportunity to show the road, just the country, what family football's all about. Mike, if you're here, still here, do you have a question for Keith by chance? While I keep going. By the way, FAMU, I tell you this about FAMU. I have great respect for that team, and every HBCU I have a great amount of respect for. A lot of guys, a lot of players that play there have gone to the NFL and are in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, yeah, Cookman. Those are our rivals, man. Those are our cousins over there, man. So it's a different rivalry though. I mean, I'm from Tallahassee, born and raised. Worked at Florida State. Actually an FSU and a FAMU fan. So I've seen the UF and Florida State rivalry in person, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Miami hate week. I don't go on campus.
I'm thinking,
Even when I was
I
home.
want to ask on that point, Keith, if I may. How come
Yeah,
you guys don't play FSU? Every you play Florida, you play UCF on occasion, you play USF, you play Miami. Why not FSU? Is there some? What's the
it's
reason behind that? I was just curious.
it's just not conducive to a good relationship. And in the past, we've seen, especially in the men's sports, the last time we played in a men's sport, a major men's sport, there was a fight. So there was a fight at the Tully at the Tuck, and it was back then it was Leon County, Civic Center, but they had a fight at the basketball game, and honestly, just regionally, you just it's not quite ready. I think now at this point we've matured to a point just as a society where we're ready, but honestly, societal problems, just HBCU, predominantly white university, just kind of keeping them apart off the football field. But I think it's something that in the coming future we will see something like that coming about.
And I think it's deserved. I think that city deserves to be. That's a rivalry. I think that needs to be there. That rivalry, that game needs to happen. But it'll always be at Doak. It'll never be over at Bragg Stadium, if I'm not
Oh
mistaken.
yeah, yeah, no, frag's too small.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, Keith. Keys to an upset on Saturday night. What are your keys to an upset on Saturday night?
Keys to an upset. I mean, outside of a miracle, like I said, Miami's you're a playoff team. I mean, if we're putting on categories right now, Miami was a category 3 going to the UF game. You're a cat 4 right now, and the ACC's trash. Like, sorry, but they are. But the keys to an upset: one, turnovers. FAMU's got to be able to force turnovers, but not just force turnovers, but recover them. You have to be able to force Cam Ward to make mistakes. We did see, he kind of he had an interception, but I put an asterisk by the interception. You
Yeah.
also need to make sure that you slow down the run, and you have to control time possession. If you are allowing Miami to go up and down the field, the game's it's going to be over. It's not going to last long, but those are really the keys to the upset. And really, as a team, fam, you got to play a perfect game. I mean, limit turnovers, limit the penalties, score every time you touch the ball, or nearly every time you touch the ball. You just have to be efficient, and you have to model efficiency consistently throughout the game.
Yeah. The thing I've noticed for the keys, I think for Miami, my only concern is a potential letdown after a big win on the road in Gainesville. This is the home opener. I mean, it's going to be almost a packed house at Hard Rock Saturday night, and I really think Miami. One thing Miami cannot do is not have a hangover off the big win against Florida. I mean, they have to stay on focus, stay focused, stay aggressive, and no letdown. Treat this game like it's another game. It's a home opener. That's not gonna Miami doesn't get anybody hurt. Takes care of business. That's what it has to do. Um, Keith, I'm going to let you go with these. Give me a
Okay.
prediction for Saturday night. Give me a
Ooh,
prediction for Saturday.
prediction. So it breaks my little heart from Tallahassee to say it, but I'm picking the U.
Thanks, Mike.
I
By the
think
way, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Keith.
I'm picking the U. I think Miami wins pretty handily, especially because Miami's offensive line. Like we talked about, not we, but pundits, because I can't say we because I haven't really said
Yeah,
on the Fangs Up
yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
But
yeah,
for the longest time, Miami's offensive line has been not very good, and we've seen under Cristobal. One, there's a different focus. I mean, and a lot of times it's like a BS line for people to give you, like this team's focused in a different way than it was before. But Miami's just businesslike. Granted, there were antics and playing around, and there was a swagger after you scored. But at the same point, Cristobal is very businesslike. This team just has that swagger, like they're going to win a championship. So I just think Miami's going to win this game. I think Cristobal will probably take his foot off, the team's neck. But if I see 42-14, that's not going to be a shock.
Now I gotta say, I'll say this. I think, like I said, no letdowns, no turnovers. Canes take care of business. I see some of our fans say shutout. I don't think it's given how good Richardson is. And Richardson does. I've seen Richardson on tape. He does not make a lot of mistakes. He doesn't turn the ball over. They don't do that. But I think that being said, this is a major step up for FAMU in this ball game. And that being said, I still think Miami wins comfortably. Like you said, I'm going to say along the lines of 55-17, Canes win. 55-17. Listen, Keith, I know we had technical difficulties in the beginning, but we got it going. We got that fixed. Thank you so much for coming on. Greatly appreciate it. Enjoy the game on Saturday, and we'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
that was that was